My male boss humiliated my husband in public, and I stayed silent.
I never thought humiliation could feel so physical. It wasn't just embarrassing. It was heavy, like something was pressing down on my chest, making it hard to breathe. That's exactly how I felt the night my boss decided to turn my marriage into a cheap form of entertainment. I'd been married to Adam for 9 years. He wasn't flashy or aggressive. He was steady, dependable, and deeply loyal, the kind of man who shows his love through quiet actions rather than loud words. And somewhere along the way, I'd started taking that incredible steadiness for granted. At work, everything was the complete opposite. My boss, Victor, was charming in that specific way powerful men often are: confident, loud, and fully aware of his own influence. He absolutely loved being admired, but even more than that, he loved being feared. When he first noticed me, I made the mistake of thinking his attention was a sign of professional respect. But the compliments soon turned into lingering looks. The jokes started crossing lines that I know I should have shut down immediately. I didn't encourage him, not really, but I also didn't stop him. And that silence became my biggest, most painful mistake. It all started so subtly. Victor would make these little comments about how lucky Adam was, or how I deserved someone with more excitement, more ambition. I would just laugh nervously, hoping to deflect the conversation without having to start a confrontation. I kept telling myself it was harmless, just his massive ego and bravado talking. But Adam noticed. Of course he did, he always did. One evening, after a company event, he asked me if something was wrong at work. His voice was calm, but his eyes were searching my face. Like he was bracing himself for an answer he didn't want to hear. I brushed it off. I told him he was just imagining things, that Victor was all talk. Adam just nodded, but I could see this shadow of doubt settle in his expression. The real damage, the part that changed everything, happened at the annual corporate dinner. Spouses were invited, so Adam came with me wearing his usual quiet confidence, polite and reserved. I was so proud of him, though I didn't say it out loud. Victor noticed him the second we walked in. During dinner, Victor raised his glass and started making jokes, commanding the entire room's attention. At first, it was just harmless humor about work stress and recent successes. But then his eyes landed right on Adam. "You know," Victor said, a smirk spreading across his face. "It's really impressive how some men can trust their wives so completely, especially when they work late with powerful people." The room filled with uneasy laughter. My stomach just dropped. Victor was enjoying the discomfort, feeding off it. He continued, "I mean, if I were him, I'd be pretty nervous. Talent like that tends to attract, well, attention." My heart was pounding in my chest. Adam didn't laugh. He didn't say a word. He just sat there, his face completely unreadable, his eyes locked on his plate. I wanted the floor to swallow me whole. I should have stood up. I should have defended my husband. But instead I just froze. My silence in that moment felt louder than any words I could have said. Victor wasn't finished. "Of course, I'm just joking," he said, grinning at me. "Unless I'm not—" That was it. That was the final straw. Adam stood up, slowly and deliberately. The entire room went silent. He didn't shout. He didn't make a threat. He simply looked straight at Victor and said, in a voice that was low but carried across the room, "You've said enough." Victor tried to laugh it off, waving his hand dismissively. "Hey, relax, man. It's all in good fun." Adam turned to me for just a second. His eyes didn't accuse me. They didn't beg for anything. They just looked tired. So incredibly tired, we left right after that. The drive home was completely silent. The quiet was suffocating. When we finally got back to the house, Adam didn't raise his voice. And that scared me more than any amount of anger ever could. He just looked at me and said quietly, "You didn't stop him." I tried to explain. I stumbled over my words, making excuses about being shocked, about not knowing what to say, about how it meant nothing. He just nodded slowly. "I know it meant something," he said. "Just not what you think." That night, he slept in the guest room. Over the next few days, Adam became distant, but also incredibly focused. He went to work, came home exactly on time, spent time playing with our kids, but he barely spoke to me beyond what was absolutely necessary. I felt like I was watching someone prepare for something big, something I couldn't understand. Victor, on the other hand, acted like nothing had happened at all. He smirked whenever he saw me at work, whispered little jokes in passing. He was clearly enjoying the power he thought he had over the situation. He completely underestimated my husband. See, Adam never confronted Victor directly. He didn't need to. Instead, he started making calls, quietly reconnecting with people he hadn't spoken to in years. He was reviewing old documents, checking project timelines, and gathering information without anyone knowing. I had no idea any of this was happening until the day everything came crashing down. Victor was suddenly called into an emergency executive meeting, then another one. By the afternoon, rumors were flying through the office like wildfire: investigations, financial irregularities, abuse of authority. By the end of that week, Victor was gone. There was no farewell email, no dramatic exit. He was just erased. That evening, Adam finally sat down with me. "I didn't do it for revenge," he said calmly. "I did it because no one gets to disrespect my family and just walk away untouched."